Zambia's forests, water, wildlife and landscapes are the foundation of our collective cultural, natural and national heritage. They are the basic resources, together with minerals for sustainable economic development. They are a national asset which we must guard jealously, use wisely and protect for the future. Zambia has over 237 different types of mammals, 760 different types of birds, and many types of trees. Some of the animals and birds are unique or endemic to Zambia. Wild animals like black lechwe and Kafua lechwe are only found in the Bangweulu and Kafua Flat areas, respectively. Nowhere else in the world. The Zambian barbet. The small bird on the 1 kwacha coin is found only in specific areas in central and southern Zambia among certain fig trees. 50% of the global population of a large bird called wattled crane is found on the Kafua Flats and Barotse floodplains. Hardwoods like mukula, mukwa, the Zambezi tick, or mukusi, and medicinal plants like the little-known devil's claw are examples of economically important plants. Miombo woodlands cover most of the country with their associated wetlands and grasslands. Mopani woodlands are the most common woodland type in the low-elevation river valleys of the Luangwa and Zambezi rivers. With over 30% of the country's landmass dedicated to conservation, Zambia has a lot to celebrate, protect, and be proud of as we join the world in celebrating World Environment Day 2016. The theme for World Environment Day 2016 is Zero Tolerance for Illegal Wildlife Trade. Let's unite and fight. This year's theme is calling on all of us to work together to stop illegal wildlife trade because it has a negative impact on the economy, the people, and the environment. The United Nations designated 5th June every year as World Environment Day.
From where we stand as WWF, we believe that wildlife conservation is going to be but a pipe dream if we do not do 3 important things. One is to empower communities through appropriate structures, capacity building, and creating incentives for them to actually play that role. Number 2 is to ensure that benefit sharing mechanisms are clear. Communities need to see tangible benefits from wildlife resources. Otherwise, their efforts and commitment will count to nothing. Number 3 is a supportive legal and police environment. We need that. It's very important that we promote this holistic understanding of the environment in our communities.
Animal parts including ivory, horns, and even birds' feathers and whole live animals are being traded illegally. 2 animal species that have been affected mostly by illegal trade are elephants, the largest land mammal, and the rhino, probably the most endangered animal in Africa. It is important to take note that wildlife is not just animals. It is also wild plants and other forms of life and the landscapes that provide habitats. These places of scenic beauty in the mountains and valleys and their forests, plains and wetlands that have inspired all of us and our cultures for generations. Although Zambia has about 28,000 African savanna elephants, the population has dropped from an estimated 100,000 in the 1980s, and mainly due to illegal hunting fueled by the international market. The elephant is a keystone and flagship species, meaning that it has a significant impact on the environment, but more importantly, its conservation has significant benefits for other animals and for people.
Poaching problem in Zambia is a very serious problem that we have, because almost every month we are arresting people with the game meat, with the wildlife skins, with the wildlife products. Every month we are taking these people to court. And because it is depleting some of our areas with wildlife, it is actually reducing the development pace of tourism in the country. We have our partners that are supporting us with building capacity for our staff, and these are WWF. We have partners like Game Rangers International. We have partners like Frankfurt Zoological Society. We have partners like African Parks. All these are coming in to help us build capacity in our staff to fight illegal wildlife trade.
As for the rhino, Zambia was a stronghold for black rhino in Africa until the 1990s, when the entire population underwent a local extinction. Zambia now holds a reintroduced black rhino in the North Luangwa National Park and introduced white rhino populations in Mosi-oa-Tunya and Lusaka National Parks. Wildlife contributes to tourism, as it is one of the main attractions for local and foreign tourists to Zambia. Tourism contributes 7% of government revenue. Wildlife-based tourism creates about 10% of jobs in Zambia, even in remote areas. Tourism is critical to diversifying the national economy away from copper. This is why it is identified as an area of economic growth in development plans, including Vision 2030. Wildlife is also part of the balance of nature, which creates many social and environmental benefits. This economic, cultural, and environmental asset is threatened by illegal trade, which robs the country of this wealth and is driven by markets, greed, and corruption. This is why wildlife-related crimes are now being considered as serious economic crimes and crimes against the environment. Government is aware of the challenges of sharing landscapes with wildlife. Every year, some wild animals such as elephants damage crops and sometimes take human life. There are ongoing efforts to mitigate the impacts of human-wildlife conflict to minimize the negative impacts and maximize the benefits of wildlife to the local, national, and global population. While wildlife is of great economic and ecological value to us, the long-term survival of wildlife is not fully assured. The major threats to wildlife include human encroachment in designated wildlife areas and poaching, which is driven by poverty and demand in urban centers and internationally. His Excellency President Edgar Chagwa Lungu has expressed concern about the high level of poaching and directed all security agencies in Zambia to participate in anti-poaching exercises to stop poaching and other wildlife crimes.
My appeal really is to each and every Zambian to play their part, because illegal wildlife trade is a great concern, and unless we work together, we are very likely to lose the fight against illegal wildlife trade.
Our collaboration with other law enforcement agencies, for example, we were working with the police, we were working also with other security agencies to fight this scourge. On this World Environmental Day theme of zero tolerance to illegal wildlife trade, let's unite and fight. I'm urging the public to come in and fight and report all illegal activities in terms of illegal trade in wildlife to relevant law enforcement agencies. Let us rise and unite and fight this scourge.
Play your part by reporting all suspected wildlife crimes to the Department of National Parks and Wildlife. Remember that it is a punishable offense by law to harvest, sell, or buy game meat, timber, and other wildlife without a license. On World Environment Day 2016, let us unite to fight wildlife crimes.